What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. A couple videos ago, I think it was in my top 10 designer list, was talking about Narciso Rodriguez for him. Asked if some of you guys wanted to see a review on it. Had a resounding response. A lot of you guys said you want to see it, so here it is. But we got a special review for you today because I'm doing it in collaboration with a friend of mine, Rick Neiman from the channel Scentsory Overload. I feel very fortunate to have gotten Rick's take on this fragrance as well. So we're going to hear from him first. And he actually had a lot of great things to say about it. So I won't have a whole lot to say after he's done. But anyway, take it away, Rick.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Rick from Scentsory Overload, and I just want to start out by giving a huge thank you to Justin Copeland for having me be a part of this collaboration on his channel. Thanks so much, Justin. It's really an honor to have this opportunity to work alongside somebody that I really respect in the community, and thank you so much for having me here. And we're actually reviewing a fragrance that you turned me on to, so I have you to thank for putting this fragrance on my radar. And not only that, but this is also composed by one of my absolute favorite perfumers, Francis Kurkdjian. So when I found that out, I needed to get my hands on a bottle of this. And here is my bottle of Narciso Rodriguez for him. Man, this stuff is something else. It is a bold fragrance, and it makes a statement. And that statement is, I'm a freaking man, because that is what this is. It's masculinity in a bottle. I love it. It's bold. It's kind of in your face. When you first spray this stuff on, I get that blast of violet leaf and patchouli, and it's so powerful. This is one of those fragrances that I got to be careful how much I spray on, because the first time I used it, I actually went a little too crazy with it. And it really was overwhelming. So it's one of those fragrances that's so powerful on me that I really gotta discipline myself not to spray too much, because I like to get a little trigger happy with my fragrances, I'll admit. But so you got that opening of violet leaf and patchouli, and then as it dries down, I get that musk coming out, and I don't get a whole lot of the amber that's in here. Maybe a little touch of it as it gets farther into the life of the fragrance, but this stuff is it's the violet leaf, patchouli, and musk, and it's earthy, it's green, it's dark, it's really there's a lot of depth to this fragrance, even though there's really not a whole lot of notes in it. And I think that's really what makes this such a masterful blend by Francis Kurkdjian, is that, there's really very few notes listed in this fragrance, but yet it manages to come across as a much more complex scent than it really is when you look at the way it's structured. So I really respect that, and I love this fragrance. Performance is outstanding on my skin. Easily I get about 10 hours out of this fragrance, lasts through the whole day without any problems. Projection, like I said, I got to be careful with this one. So it does project very, very strongly on my skin. I would say probably about 3 hours of pretty solid projection. It's a great fragrance. I love the scent. I love the way it performs on my skin. But it's not a fragrance I think that's going to be for everyone. Some people have complained, it just smells like wet concrete. It's nothing special. And it's not a fragrance that's going to be a mass appealing fragrance that everyone is going to like. It's definitely more on the challenging side, and I think that it's not something that just anybody can just pick up and wear and just, oh wow, this stuff is great. But I absolutely love this fragrance, and I really truly urge you to sample it. Get a decant if you can, get a sample if you can. I'm pretty sure that some department stores do carry this, so, go out to the mall and try to get your nose on it. It's just really a gorgeous scent if you're into this type of thing, but not everybody's going to be. This is not a crowd pleaser by any means, so definitely try to get your nose on this before you go and buy a bottle of it, because this is not something that is going to be for everyone. But that's all I have to say about Narciso Rodriguez for him. Thanks again, Justin, for having me part of this collaboration, and let's send it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Rick. Honestly, I struggle to say it better than you said it. But let me just give you guys my quick take on this fragrance. I do agree with a lot of Rick's points. I don't really get this whole wet concrete vibe, to be honest, that people talk about, unless concrete is sweet and green. I don't really get that vibe at all. Also, I don't really get a whole lot of that amber. I get a little bit of it, again, into the dry down. And even if you go on the Narciso Rodriguez website, the way that they describe the fragrance, in fact, let me just pull it up here. And they say, refined and pure, for him is warm and sexy. The distinctive musk at the core is intensified with hints of violet leaves and a touch of amber. A seductively smart scent for him will always be timeless. All right, so I agree that amber is definitely in the base. There's only 4 apparent notes in this, as you heard Rick say. We got that violet leaf, which is definitely one of the most prominent. Musk, definitely one of the most prominent. Patchouli is right under that. And then the amber, I think it just adds a nuance. Maybe not a scent of amber, but I feel like I do sense it into the far dry down. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the scent because Rick already did. To me, it comes off sweet and musky and earthy and a little damp. Very, very just an interesting scent. I haven't showed you the bottle yet. Shame on me. Here's the bottle. I really love this bottle design. Very simple, very minimalistic, but very iconic in my opinion. And off the top comes off sweet and a little bit damp and a little bit green with that violet leaf. As it continues into the dry down, I don't have it on my skin because I'm not wearing it today, but as it dries down, it gets a little bit more green and a little bit more earthy. Such an interesting scent. Very simple, but has a lot of depth to it somehow. Performance, I get about the same as Rick said. Great, will last me a whole, day out and whatnot. I don't have to worry about it at least 8 hours on my skin. It's going to be present. It is a stronger scent for an eau de toilette, so I generally don't go very heavy on this. I might go max 2 sprays, to be honest. And I think where this scent really shines is in the air. The sillage, the scent trail that it gives off around you, I think that's where the magic is. It carries this air of mystery and masculinity, and I don't know. I think if you overspray this one, it's already kind of polarizing, and if you make it strong, it's really gonna push people away. It's really gonna just be off-putting. When it's subtle, that is when the magic happens. Please trust me on that. If you have not checked out this fragrance, do not overspray it. You might really like the scent even if you overspray it, but I really think it works its best when it's subtle. I think that's what it was intended for. I would generally wear this semi-formally or formally, to be honest. I would wear this at night in a suit when it's not too warm. It can be a little bit warm. I think this is a great springtime fragrance. That's why it was on my spring list, but I would watch it in the heat with this scent character. It's not very transparent, so it might get a little thick and a little cloying. And as Rick said, this is not your mass-pleasing scent, especially if you have people smell it up close. Up close, it's such a great quality fragrance if you're used to smelling fragrances, but it is just weird. It is just a weird scent, especially to those with an untrained nose. It's going to be kind of weird. Again, in the air, people who may not even appreciate fragrances might really be drawn to this and be like, what is that? Just because, again, it's so interesting. But this is not like your Dior Sauvage, your Bleu de Chanel, your Le Male. This is not going to please everyone. In the right amounts, though, you could please a lot of people, though, if you're looking to get good feedback on it. So I'm just going to leave it there. I recommend you go sample it. I do not recommend you go blind buy it. I feel like some of you guys have already done that per my recommendation, and if you like it, then that's great, but I do not recommend going out on a limb and buying this. Speaking of pricing, I don't have the exact pricing on it, but you can find this one pretty well discounted at all the major discounters. 50 ml bottle, I think it also comes in 100 milliliter, but 50 ml bottle you can definitely find for under $40. In fact, I think I got this one on eBay, which I don't terribly condone, but it was a reputable seller, so it was all right. So you can find it for a good price, but I still recommend getting a sample of it putting it on skin, letting it waft in the air, seeing how you feel about it before you just go out and buy a bottle. I highly recommend checking it out. Very unique, very interesting, and I think a timeless scent. And we don't really see fragrances like this all that often in the designer realm. And that's why I would like to end this review by saying this is not a designer fragrance. This is a niche concept in a designer bottle. So those are my thoughts, as well as Rick's, on Narciso Rodriguez for him. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you guys in the next one.